Good afternoon and welcome to the PG&E Retirement Show. Today we're going to talk about some keys to 401k success. I'm Dan Leonard and I'll be right back. Good afternoon again. Welcome to the PG&E Retirement Show. I'm Dan Leonard and we go live every week on Facebook at 2:30. Normally here from the office, occasionally on location like we did last week. But what we're going to talk about today is 401k keys to 401k success. We'll also be putting this up on the YouTube channel, which you can always just find at Marathon Retirement Planning if you search on YouTube. So I'm going to break it down into 10 items, really 3 different groups of 3. So the first part is having a plan. And the key there is participation, maximizing your match, and saving as much as you can. So first, the participation seems fairly straightforward, but you have to participate in the plan to take advantage of it. Now, a lot of plans have changed to what they call an opt-out, meaning you're automatically enrolled when you become eligible and then you have to opt out. In the old days, it used to be an opt-in, but since we're talking about PG&E's plan in this case, it is now an opt-out plan if you're under the new pension. And they'll start you at 3% and increase by 1% a year. So that's the participation part. The maximizing your match is making sure if you're on the old pension, you're contributing at least 6%. If you're on the new pension, you're contributing at least 8% of your income, and that will get you the maximum match from PG&E. There is one caveat on that. You do not want to over-contribute to the point where you go over $18,500 because that can affect your matching. And I'm going to talk about that in a second in our next section. But just remember, you want to make sure there's a contribution in every month of the year or you're going to miss out on some of your match. The save as much as you can. It's pretty straightforward. You want to put as much as you can into the 401k, which for most people is going to be 10 to 15%. Now, obviously, if you're higher up and you make more income, you don't need all your income. You can, potentially defer more than the maximum. Or if you are just starting out, maybe still living at home or some other scenario where your expenses are not that of a person living on their own, you might have a period of time where you can save more than you might otherwise be able to. A great way to take advantage of it. But again, you don't want to put more than the maximum in without taking advantage of the spillover, which I'm going to talk about in our next section here. So that's your having a plan. Make sure you participate. Make sure you maximize your match, 6% or 8% to get the full match from the company, and then increasing it as possible to save as much as you can. The second part is executing the plan. In the execution phase, you want to make sure you know what risk you're taking. So it's great to just go in and buy 1 or 2 funds, but if you can build a diversified portfolio that minimizes your risk over time. So in a year like 2008, where the market was down 51% peak to trough from November of 2007 to March of 2008, you're going to be down less. And the way you do that is A, know how much risk you're taking, and B, diversify and limit your risk to what is acceptable per year. Excuse me 1 second here. Sorry about that. So the knowing how much risk you're taking is important. Then finally, rebalancing your portfolio. So if you take your portfolio and you build a model, sorry about that, what you want to do is make sure that if you've got 10% in one fund and 8% in another and 5% in a third, that at least once a year, if not more often, you rebalance back to the ideal percentage. You want to make sure that your matches are balanced to your allocation, or that your allocations are balanced to your percentages at least once a year. And then finally, in this section, the 1% increase is a great way to help maximize that match, and it's going to get you closer to getting to the 18,500. But The spillover election, if you're very close or already over the 18,500, if you go to your contributions page, you'll see a box that says spillover. And the options are continue making my contributions on an after-tax basis. The other option is suspend my contributions. If you pick suspend my contributions, the match will stop for those months that you don't make a contribution. So what you want to do is make sure the spillover is elected. Even though you're going to put money in on an after-tax basis, you still benefit from that, because when you retire that money, let's say you make $5,000 a year of extra contributions to the 401k above and beyond what you can get the tax deferral for. That $5,000, if you did that, say, for 10 years, would be $50,000. That money would roll into a Roth IRA when you're retired. So you can save above and beyond what is allowed by the plan on a tax-deferred basis. There is an upper limit, but that's over $50,000, and most people, at least today, are not able to save more than that. The third part is understanding your plan. So you want to go back and review your account. Make sure the sub-accounts or the investments that you're in are performing as expected. And then also you want to make sure that it fits into your overall plan. So you have the plan for just your 401k, and then you have an overall plan for your retirement, because the 401k is hopefully, as it is with PG&E, really 1/3 of your retirement assets. You've got your pension, you've got Social Security, and then you have the 401k. So you want to make sure all three of those components are doing what you should expect, or what you expect. Obviously, Social Security, you really can't affect that other than continuing to earn money, but making sure you monitor that your earnings record is correct, making sure you're on track, and knowing what your pension will be are all good things to do if you want to maximize the success that you're going to have, not only in your retirement, but to maximize what you're doing in the 401k. And then finally, make adjustments as needed. I always use the example of, if you look at the target date funds that you have inside the PG&E 401k, right? If you've got a retirement 2030, right? Buying the retirement 2030 fund is very much like buying term insurance. Everybody that's planning to retire within a 5-year span, 2.5 years before, 2.5 years after of 2030, would have the same investment. Just like when you buy life insurance through PG&E on the group term plan, you're buying life insurance for everybody that's your age. And most people can find at least one or two people that are healthier and one or two people that are not as healthy. And essentially, the healthier people are subsidizing your rates, and you're subsidizing the people of poorer health with term insurance. So when you think about that from a target date fund, the target date fund basically says everybody that's retiring that year is willing to take the same amount of risk. And we know intuitively that that's not correct. You could have two identical twins and one person is risk adverse, the other person is willing to take risks. So that's why we think building a diversified portfolio versus buying just one fund to match up with your retirement is a better way to go, because it keeps you diversified. And then the final point is get help, right? Whether it's someone like me who can go in and actually take care of really the whole process, soup to nuts, where we interview you, we learn about what you're looking to accomplish, we help you design that plan, and then we help you execute the plan, or whether it's just, doing your own research and studying some of the different accounts and really knowing what you're buying. But having help, reviewing accounts, whether it be a friend, a coworker, whoever, it makes sense to get help. And again, that's one of the things that we do offer, is the ability to review your 401k on a regular basis. We take responsibility for helping you manage that. So those are a few keys to 401k success. I'm Dan Leonard. Let me just put up some information here for you. Obviously, I'm Dan Leonard. You can reach me at 925-726-401k. You can email me here at the dan@mrppfg.com, and then you can always schedule a time to talk with us through our bit.ly link, which is just bit.ly/PGE call. And again, the PGE and the C in call are cap sensitive. So if you'd like to set up a time to talk, we'd be happy to do that. But again, remember, the keys to success are having a plan, which is participation, maximizing your match, saving as much as you can, then executing your plan, which is knowing your risk, rebalancing your portfolio, and taking advantage of the 1% a year increase or the spillover election as you approach the maximum amount you can put on a tax-deferred basis. And then finally, understanding your plan, where you review your account, you review your overall plan, and then you make adjustments as needed. If you do those 9 steps and then potentially get a little help from somebody, you're on track to have a great success in your 401k. So until next week, thank you for your time. Have a great day and look forward to talking to you.